And our final speaker before we go on a short break, I would like to introduce Sunny, lead security engineer at Calibo LLC. Sunny, can you hear me?
Yes, Simon. Hi.
Perfect, perfect. And so today you're going to talk a little bit about offensive API penetration testing. Is that right?
All right, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'll hand it right over to you and you can get started. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thank you so much. So, as just last presentation that we saw was about API security, right? So that was more of the security that happens behind the scene, right? But here we are talking about how to attack, right? Okay. So hi everyone. This is Sunny Singh, and we're going to talk about API penetration testing uh, in this talk. Okay. So let me introduce myself. Who am I? Okay. So I'm a security engineer at Calibo, and at Calibo we have a product called Laza, which is a pro code or low code platform which basically helps you throughout your development, right from your ideation till the deployment, right? So just think about, like, you have an idea, you want to develop a digital product. All you need to do is hop onto the Laza, start building the portfolios, start looking into the stages of your development, look into the testing stages, deployment stages and everything. So basically Laza is going to help you throughout, right from writing the code till seeing your application live on the internet, right? And apart from that, I keep on going to the conference, speaking about the APIs and securities and about the application security in general, right? So let's get started, right? Okay, so the agenda for today is going to be, why do we really need API security, or why do we really need API penetration testing to secure our APIs, and what are the general types of APIs, and how we can practice to attack, right? So obviously we need a lab setup. We'll be discussing the tools. We'll be discussing about attacks that are seen in last 3-4 years happening on the API surface, and then we'll be seeing how we can secure them. And as a bonus point, I have few resources listed which can help you learn about the security and securing the APIs. Right. Okay. So first of all, we'll jump onto the what are the APIs, right? So APIs are nothing but the mechanism uh, that that enables two software components to communicate to each other, right? So we are surrounded with APIs nowadays. Like, each and every application that we use are running APIs behind them, right? So for example, let's say when you are booking a flight ticket, right, you're going to use the API of airlines, though you are using booking.com, but it is behind the scene, it is APIs of airlines who is letting you book the ticket and book the seat, right? So we are that much surrounded. So what happens, like, as APIs are being used everywhere, it becomes uh, it becomes like primary target for an attacker to start breaking into the APIs and get into the database or get something from the database or confidential things. And so nowadays, when you see how, so many data breaches are based on the APIs, right? Okay. So next we're going to see what are the major types of APIs that are being used nowadays. And I would say SOAP is not that much used. It was used some time back, and REST is something that is used nowadays in almost every application, right? So SOAP is a simple object access protocol, and it utilizes XML, for transfer of the data from one end to the other end. Whereas REST is a stateful protocol, which utilizes mainly HTTP to transfer the data, and it will be mostly utilizing the plain XML format or JSON format. Okay. Right. So what I think is, without the practice, penetration testing is not done, right? So if you want to learn penetration testing, you need to literally jump on and practice the applications, right? So these are the set of APIs that are intentionally made vulnerable to practice the attacks, API attacks, right? Um, so we'll talk about OWASP top 10 in coming slide. So these APIs are based on the REST APIs, and they are going to be like they can be imported in Postman, and then they can start like an attacker, or definitely I don't want you to be attacker. So security professional can start practicing on how to crack these APIs, right? Okay. So next one is obviously when it comes to penetration testing, the tools are going to be your biggest weapon, right? So as we talked about Postman, so Postman is not going to help you much on the attacker side. So it's going to help you at least learn about the APIs, right? That you're going to attack. So you can import the APIs, start playing with the request and response, right? But it becomes very strong when you attach it with a tool called Bob Suite. So Bob Suite is a proxy tool which can be which can be connected with Postman or Swagger to um, intercept the traffic, intercept each and every request, and then modify according to your need, and then check if what is the data coming from the server, right? So you can start playing with each and every request again and again repeatedly, and look into the different set of responses coming from the server for the same parameter, right? So you can start putting so many payloads, and Bobswit will help you do that very fast, right? And obviously, when we are talking about APIs, we cannot leave endpoints, right? So we need to scratch all the surface, to make sure that we are secure. So for that, you need to look into each and every hidden endpoints as well. So these three tools, API Fuzzer, Kite Runner, FOF, are going to help you with fuzzing the APIs. So basically, all you need to give is just give it a set of endpoints in a text file, and then it is going to fuzz for you and give you all the hidden endpoints that you're not able to see uh, in a normal API document, right? And one tool that I like the most is automatic API attack tool, which is by Imperva. It's going to basically scan your API and give you the list of vulnerabilities associated with it, right? Apart from that, there will be extensions that can be used with Bob Suite. I'm really sorry. Bob Suite, right, like in QL and WS DLR, which will help you. Actually, in QL is going to help you with Graph QL APIs, and WSDLR is going to help you with importing the WSDL file in the Bob directly and start playing with the request and response, right? So with that, I'll be jumping on to the main topic of today is the attacks that are happening on our APIs, right? So uh, when we talk about attacks, OWASP is nowhere gone. So OWASP, let me tell you about OWASP first. So OWASP is non-profit organization. uh, like these guys are going to they are basically into the application security, and they'll be doing some survey every now and then to look into the top level attacks that are happening in the industry, right? So these are the top 10 API attacks that has been seen in last 4 or 5 years, right? So this was prepared in 2019, and we may expect a new set of attacks maybe in coming 1 or 2 years, right? But as of now, we have this, and this is proactively being utilized by the attackers to you know to attack on the big organization, and believe me, like these are behind most of the data breaches, right? So the first one in that list is broken object level authorization, right? So this is basically the object level authorization. While the development, people do not care, or developer do not care about the authorization. Like, let's say if a user A is supposed to have one set of data, and if it gets more than what he needs, or I would say more than what he's not authorized to get, it's something falls under the broken object level authorization, right? I'm not going to go very deep into each and every one of them, because we have less time, because if I start explaining each and every part of it, it's going to take about an hour, right? Okay, so next one is broken authentication. So as the name suggests, broken authentication is nothing but your loosely implemented authentication, right? Nowadays we are seeing so many applications with default credentials, like admin default, they are coming up with a very weak passwords that can be guessed very easily, right? So, or the secure sorry the authentication mechanism that can be easily broken. So those fall under broken authentication, right? Next one is excessive data exposure, which is behind most of the data breaches. Is like, we always think about the application that are given to the users, but we do not think the APIs running behind them are yielding a lot of data than what a user needs, right? So let's say if there is a page which is giving you set of information like ABC, that particular API behind that can give you more than ABC. So that kind of data should not be exposed, and then we'll see how we can keep hold of it. Next one is lack of resources and rate limiting. So this is kept at the fourth place, and basically, an attacker can leverage if there is no rate limiting implemented to make DOS or DDoS kind of attacks, right? So it basically brings down your server, and it may end up in business loss, right? Next one is broken function level authorization. So you can think of this about the broken function level authorization is, let's say there are multiple roles like end user, admin, manager, right? And if being a end user, I'm able to perform some actions using my authorization key, which should be done by the admin itself, right? So that kind of rules and labels should be very much strict, through the authorization techniques, right? In the list, we have mass assignment at the sixth place. The mass assignment is again something, you know, uh, something which talks about a lot of data yelling out, right? So basically, let's say if there is one API and we are assigning a lot of data to it, lot of data in the response to it, it's going to mess here and there, and it might end up breaking your application, which might give some of the informations that can be utilized by the attacker later to perform the some different kind of attacks, right? Okay, so next one is security misconfiguration. Again, this is seen a lot in the development. So while we are developing an application, we make use of a lot of different frameworks, a lot of different uh, softwares behind the scene, and they come up with some configuration, and it is known to everybody, right? And let's say, for example, if one of the applications is uh, you know uh, kept in the debug mode, right? What if an attacker finds an endpoint and start looking into the each and every error that is generated by the application? And so such kind of security misconfiguration can be should be avoided. It should be like well configured on each and every endpoint, right? Next one is injection. So injection is more and more about the database, right? We write query languages to kind of fetch data or to input data into the database, right? So injection can be utilized for making such attack where you put some query in the request and fetch out some data from the database, which should not be ideally done by any end user, right? It should be something performed by the developers and administrators. And so basically each and every endpoint that we have should be having some mechanism, some or the other mechanism to look into your request, that only the authentic input is coming from your from your API, yeah, or from your endpoint, right? So it should not be having any query into the into the input folds. You should not basically accept the queries, right? Next one in this list is improper asset management. So improper asset management is one of the crucial part when it comes to API, right? Though it does not kind of make it very crucial for the for you to be attacked, but it helps you a lot to make a surface for a secure environment or for a secure API environment, right? So basically, all you need to do is make a proper API document, right? So once you have the proper API document, you're going to have list of each and every request and responses, and you can check timely that these are the list of request and response, or these are the list of endpoints that I have. If it is properly authenticated, if it is properly if the RBAC or if the authorization is properly implemented or not, right? So these kind of you know like documents are going to help you a lot with saving yourself from these attacks, or making sure that these attacks are not being left open from your side, right? Next is insufficient logging and monitoring. So insufficient logging and monitoring is all about you log each and every request that is coming in, or each and every response that is going out, right? And keep monitoring it. If there is any malicious request, that you can just drop it right there, do not respond, or throw some particular generic error that you're not supposed to perform this, you are not you're trying to hack a system, such kind of generic message that you can throw, right? Or else let's say if you are being attacked, at least you can stop it right there. If you're monitoring that, okay, you are being attacked and some data is being leaked out. Okay, so there should be logging and monitoring implemented 24/7. We'll be talking about it in the upcoming slide. Okay, so with that, we talked a lot about attacking the APIs, right? Though it is very fun to hack the application or the APIs, it's very important to secure. All right, and I would always recommend to implement security right from the day one of the development than being attacked and then start implementing the security, right? So for that, what we do is from the day one, we can start looking into each and every endpoint or each and every API that we are creating, right? That should be having a proper authentication method, proper authorization, right? So for that, you can implement OAuth for the authentication, and RBAC, a proper RBAC for the authorization. So RBAC is nothing but you're going to be a role based access, right? So you, let's say you have set of roles, and you provide a proper very strict access depending on the roles, and it should be kind of coupled with and throughout your application, which will help you a lot, you know to keep yourself secure from the broken authentication and broken authorization or polar attack, right? Next one is secure API gateway. So your API is going to talk, going to talk to internet all the time. So every request that are coming, you cannot trust that is a legitimate or that is being sent by the attacker, right? So for that, what we can do is we can start implementing security on the gateway side itself, like on the API gateway itself. So you can start putting some rate limiting. So you can set a limit of requests that can come within particular time frame, right? You can start putting some security headers which will be uh, going along with your requests and responses, uh, that can make you secure from multiple attacks like XSS, iframe attacks and all, right? Next in the list is use of web application firewall. So we were talking about, there can be malicious payloads coming in your requests. So what you can do is you can start utilizing web application firewall, which will look into each and every uh, request. And if that is malicious, it learns that and start blocking that particular request, or it will drop the request right there, as soon as it is made. So yeah, so use of web application firewall is very crucial or very much recommended, right? Next one is identifying the vulnerabilities in the pipeline. So there's a method called dash that can be utilized to kind of you know to kind of get the vulnerabilities in your pipeline itself. So it is more about shifting your security to left. So nowadays there is no application secure. There will be vulnerability in one or the other way in all the applications, right? So what you can do, you can make it a practice to start scanning your APIs in the pipeline itself, right? So whatever pipeline that you have, there are multiple tools out there that can be implemented in your pipeline to scan your APIs all the time, right? Next one is implementing the security mesh. So security mesh is not about a particular technology. It's about implementing the security service in your organization, right? So whatever we talked throughout, right, like 4 5 points to secure APIs, security mesh can help you, make a framework out of it, that you are going to perform these things to stay secure, right? So it's going to be having more or less of the process to secure your APIs, right? And the next, and again, one of the crucial, all the time I'm talking about data breach, right? Let's say if there is a data breach happens, and you keep your database encrypted, right? So if it is encrypted, even if the leakage happens, the encrypted data will be leaked, and end of the day you're going to be secure. At least whatever data is leaked, that is not in plain text, and cannot be, it cannot be read by a normal human being, right? So always try to use the encryption for whatever data that you have. Always keep it encrypted, right? And last but not the least is the zero trust policy, right? Implementing zero trust policy is something, that is very crucial part for any organization, right? So do not trust anybody. Do not think that if I have an API given to 5 users, it's going to be used by only the 5 users. Okay, if it is open on the internet, no one should be, trusting any request. And you should be, kind of implementing zero trust policy throughout your development, even after the development. And you can, kind of iterate through all the processes to put on the zero trust policy into it. Okay. uh, yeah, so we have talked more about securing the APIs. Next one is a bonus point that I have got for you, is the resources, right? So nowadays we see a lot of resources uh, out on the internet, but these are the list of resources that I have found very useful while looking into the security of API, especially the API security.io. They are doing a good job. They are literally looking into each and every upcoming things, looking into how we can secure them. And they're making videos, walkthroughs, blogs. There are a lot of things that you can just visit and learn about the API. Okay. And GitHub is nowhere gone about looking into the tools, looking into the white papers. So these are the resources that I have got additionally for you to go learn about attacking the APIs and learning you know learning to crack them, and then safeguard yourself from the attackers. Yes, with that, I'll open the floor for the questions,
Yeah.
which is very
Thank you
important.
very much, Sunny. Unfortunately, we have to go to break, so there won't be any time for a Q&A this time. But
Okay.
thank you very much for your sharing. Again, I think a very important topic to discuss and to help us all secure our APIs from any attackers. So
That's right.
thank you again for coming, Sunny.